Coming to you from the JD's Bar and Grill Mobile Studios.
Woo!
In the Hideout, the home of the San Antonio Gunslingers. Although, I don't know, are we here more often than the San Antonio Gunslingers are? Like,
I'm going to say 100% sure. Yeah, I think so.
We're in the Hideout today. We are coming to you on an odd day for us,
Very
but
odd.
it's a regular day for you because it's Wednesday morning, and it's time for the Smoking Guns podcast. I am Philip Higginbotham. I'm joined, as always, by R.C. Woods.
Hello, everyone.
And Leo Yamas.
What's up, Gunslingers posse?
We're going to talk about all kinds of things because we are a podcast that deals with football. We are a podcast more specifically that deals with football in Texas. Even more specifically than that, we deal with football in San Antonio.
Yes, we do.
Particularly football around the San Antonio Gunslingers of the American Arena League. Greatest thing to happen to San Antonio football ever.
That's for sure.
Yep.
We have tons of different ways that you can get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us through social media. You can find us at SmokinGunzPod. That's Smokin' No G, Guns with a Z. POD on Facebook and Twitter. You can email the show at
Sure
SmokinGunzPod at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can also leave us a voice message
Love it.
at Speakpipe.
Yeah.
www.speakpipe.com/SmokinGunzPod.
And we got one.
We've got one.
Yeah.
We get to actually hear from fans of the team. Actually,
right.
fans of us.
That's right.
Oddly enough. We have our own fans. Look at that.
Wow.
You can leave us a voice message there on SpeakPipe. It can be 90 seconds or shorter. And our one today is
90
exactly
seconds.
90 seconds.
Yes, it is.
In fact, I think it cuts him off as he's trying to
Say goodbye.
finish up. And you can, let's see, we did social media, we did email, we did SpeakPipe.
Yep.
And you can join our team on Patreon.
True.
Go into www.patreon.com/SmokingGunzPod and support our show because we make all of this stuff happen on a regular basis, and it costs money sometimes
It does.
It
to
does.
do that.
And we're poor.
And we are. Like we don't make a killing
No, we don't.
off of broadcasting and podcasting. That's not our bag.
We don't even have to
No.
report it on tax time because that's how little we get.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. So we are doing this on a Tuesday.
I'm tired.
It's very odd, but the reason we're having to do this on Tuesday is our normal Monday night recording time was taken up this
That's
week.
right.
We're supposed to record on Mondays, and all three of us had something to do that night.
Yeah,
We
what is
did.
that?
We all
were
did.
all busy.
Very busy.
Very unprofessional.
We had a Gunslingers game last night in the Rose Palace. San Antonio Gunslingers took on the Austin Wild and won
Yes, we
Yeah.
did. Big W.
30
36-26.
to 26.
Right.
Or was it 34?
Or no, 34.
Yeah, it's 34-24.
Yeah.
34-24 win over the Austin Wild.
Monday evening, or football on a Monday evening.
Football on a Monday night. Lots to talk about, lots to get into with that experience. Not only the game, but the experience around the game. We also want to talk a little bit about some events we have coming up.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Austin Wild coming into town 2 weeks from last night,
Wow.
or from Monday
And they're
night.
pumped too.
The rematch.
I'm kind of scared.
A rematch of the I-35 showdown. San Antonio's won the first, but Austin's going to come in and attempt to even that here in a couple of weeks.
Attempt. Good word.
And then before we get to that game, we've got another event we're going to talk a little bit about. So stick with us all the way through the show. You always do. I mean, I don't know anybody listens to half a show. What would that do? Like, what good would that be?
It's like eating half a sandwich.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Or half a dessert. Who
first
does
and
that?
foremost, let's talk a little bit about this game that just happened last night for us, 2 nights ago for those of you that are listening as soon as this podcast comes out, which is everybody. Let's face it. Leo, a different, some different things at the Rose Palace last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the main different thing
Right.
was a very positive difference. from the first one, the blue monster is no more.
Yeah, the blue monster. Well, it is still there. Like I was
it still
noticing.
Where is it?
As I got to the San Antonio Rose Palace, and I got there very early yesterday so that we could get everything set up for the broadcast. And I was walking. We park all the way in the back because that's where the help parks. The help parks in the back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Enter through the back door.
So yeah, exactly. So I was parking in the back. I got my table and I've got my equipment and stuff, and I'm walking through, and there are some shipping containers just over to the side, and just haphazardly thrown in front. There's like 2 of the rolls of the blue monster, and I know that's what's in the rest of that shipping container is the rest of the blue monster. But it was not necessary last night because they had an entirely new surface.
Gorgeous.
New to us.
New to us, yeah. Used to belong to the Quad City Steam Wheelers, who have played in several different leagues and are still, they are not having a season this season. I looked them up a couple of days ago, and I think they are taking 2021 off with COVID concerns.
Okay.
But planning on being back. They are in one of the, IFL or the CIF.
Too many letters there for me. So does that mean we have to give it back to them when we're done?
No.
Okay, good.
No, this has been purchased by the San Antonio Gunslingers. It is the new surface for the San Antonio Gunslingers. If you were at the game or you watched the broadcast of the game, you would have noticed the branding for the Quad City Steamrollers.
Yep, in the end zone.
That's going to get taken care of soon. Our understanding is that the surface arrived in San Antonio less than 24 hours before the game.
Wow.
Somebody
worked their butt off.
It took them a couple of weeks to find the funding. It's not a cheap thing to buy a whole new surface. And then they had to, you don't just buy it. It's not coming through Amazon. It's not free delivery. So
imagine
then you
that
gotta,
package
right?
on your porch.
Imagine that Amazon driver. Like,
It's got to be a beast.
so they had to, deal with transport and getting it down here. Somebody had to go up and finalize the deal. And I believe Jason did all that. He made a trip up to Chicago and babysat the field coming back down.
Was it Chicago or St. Louis?
Chicago.
No, Chicago.
Man,
But
how
you go
come he
through
didn't tell
St.
me?
Louis to get to Chicago.
I could have told him to take some to my brother's.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure he didn't have anything else to
No.
do. Like,
He only had, a little mat to take?
yeah, it's just a
little mat.
So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about the surface. It is not so the original surface, the Blue Monster, as it's been referred to by the team. We didn't come up with that. That's what they're calling it around the team. The Blue Monster was just turf. It was just a turf mat that they had laid down directly on top of the dirt, and that's it. Like, that's what it was, and it was kind of a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Of a turf.
Pretty much, yeah.
The new surface is carpet, basically carpet,
with some padding underneath it.
with some thick foam padding underneath. So better. I got to imagine a better place to play on for your joints. A better place to play on when you get tackled.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, the carpet is probably not a good place to get tackled. Anybody who's ever
carpet burn.
gotten any kind of carpet burn knows that you're going to want to wear long sleeves or tape your elbows or whatever it is if you're going to get tackled on a regular basis on that particular kind of surface. Some large white-ish squares around the field. Leo, what was that?
That was prior sponsor branding that was on those pieces when it was with Quad City. Obviously, their sponsors are not Gunslinger sponsors, those had to be covered up, and they will eventually be replaced with Gunslinger sponsors.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Again,
I did notice that, but I just never thought about it.
Hundreds of times better than the surface that they went out there
immensely.
I saw not only conversation on the San Antonio Gunslingers social media areas that we all frequent, but even in Arena League national sort of conversations that were like, hey, San Antonio promised and delivered.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They put a better surface out here for these players.
I thought it was funny. There was a couple guys out there that want to take credit for it. I don't know if you saw any of that.
No, I didn't see this.
Like, oh, I gave them a hard time about it. I told them this and that, and I find it funny that 2 weeks later they have a new surface. Like they listened to me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Look, anybody that was out there for the inaugural game
Anyone
against
that had
the
eyes,
North
really.
Texas Bulls, or watched either of the broadcasts that came out of that, and thought that the Gunslingers were good with that, like, oh, that's good.
Oh, please.
Like, that's good. That's fine. You don't understand the guys that run this organization.
They're not paying attention, obviously, except to their own stuff.
Now, when we talked about that first game, that inaugural game 2 weeks ago, the field was probably the biggest negative complaint.
Yeah.
Kind of, it looked kind of janky.
It did.
It didn't look like a place that,
Not professional.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure that North Texas was going to be willing to play when they showed up. Like,
Right.
I looked at the field and I was like,
definitely an eyesore.
Well, and aside from that, it just,
It didn't look safe. It didn't look safe
Right.
either. Right.
That was more my concern. They did go ahead and play a game on it, but it was a mess. And that was probably the biggest complaint. But there were others.
There were others.
And if we're really honest, some of those complaints are still complaints.
They're carried over to this game.
There were some carryover kind of things. There were porta potties.
Porta potties is a big
You're never
issue.
going to make everyone happy.
You're not.
Well, no, not everyone happy, but as a female, which is a little bit different than a male when it comes to having to go to the restroom,
Wait,
it makes a
females
difference.
and males are different?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You heard it here first.
Interesting information.
And so
Wow.
men can, it's a rodeo thing. You can go to a corner. I know what you guys do.
Nobody went into the corner of the San Antonio
I
Rose
guarantee you. Maybe somebody did, but I know no female did, and
Right.
it determines how much you're going to drink in tailgating. So if you're limiting how much we're going to drink, you're limiting how much fun we're going to have tailgating.
Sure.
So we need porta potties. I'm saying this from all the women there, maybe some men too, but for all the women, we need porta potties.
So not just porta potties. There was the scoreboard issue that we talked about 2 weeks ago that was still an issue this time around. There is a finite amount of time that things can get done. And I can tell you, just because I have these conversations with the team, that they know those concerns are still there.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's, what do we have to fix?
Right. In the amount
What
of
do
time
we need
have.
to fix?
Right.
What do we want to fix?
Right.
Like, it's triage in
It's
a way.
triage, exactly.
Right.
And the field was, we have to
Number
fix
one.
this.
That was number one.
And then there are lots of things that we need to fix. Like, we have to fix the field. We need to fix the scoreboard and porta potties. We want to fix the concession lines and some of that
They
kind
were
of stuff.
better.
So,
I get it. But still, I have to voice the opinion from the people that I was hanging out with during tailgating. That's my job. I feel I'm like past the wine. I'm the middle person.
The field being taken care of, I think, sends a clear signal that they're going to fix the things they can fix as soon as they can fix them.
Yeah.
It was just the most important part of it.
Of course.
How
Safety
important is the facility, is the safety of players? I mean, obviously, we know it's super important, but I can tell you, and if you listen to the broadcast, I think in the pregame we talked a little bit about it, North Texas drove out to El Paso this weekend for a game on Saturday and got there, and the field, the conditions were deemed unsafe.
Yeah.
And so they climbed back on the bus and left because it wasn't a safe facility. And there's some argument out there about, North Texas being soft.
That's horrible.
Coming from the West
If
Texas
they played
area.
on our field.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And that's the thing is, I've seen them play in adverse conditions in something that could have been, deemed unsafe. Mm-hmm. They would have had every right to walk into the Rose Palace and look at the original turf and go, I don't feel good about playing on this. Mm-hmm. They didn't, and they stayed and they played. So for them to say in West Texas, hey, this is not good condition. This is not conditions that we feel comfortable playing in. I don't think that's an issue of being soft.
Not at all.
There's
it's a safety issue.
There's just a point where, this is too much. This is too far. And West Texas is going to correct those issues. It's not entirely their fault. COVID hit El Paso. Of all the places in Texas, right. COVID hit El Paso the hardest.
Yes, it did.
And it caused them to have to find a backup venue quickly. And the venue they found is probably not suited for what they want to do.
Yep. We were in the same predicament.
For sure.
So.
Absolutely. See, I say it too. For sure.
For sure.
Apparently, Leo got a note from someone that he says for sure too often.
Okay, for sure. So send me the note too.
Like the whole time.
Don't you pick on my brother.
So those kind of things aside, those issues aside, things are getting better. We had a better stream for the most part.
Yeah.
All the way through. We did have, right at the end, we had a little
glitch,
technological glitch. Those things are going to happen. We're going to put out, we do have all of the game or at least, 99% of the game on video recorded. We're going to have to edit it together and put out a full video of the missing section that dropped on the stream.
The technology failure actually wasn't something on our end or something that we can control.
What we understand, and this sounds like excuses. It's not meant to be that. Like, it just is what it is.
We're learning.
It can be a lot of different places. What we have zeroed in on is that there was a server issue through our streaming company. So we send that information through our internet at the Rose Palace out to a streaming company that then divides it out to 3 different places. It goes to YouTube, it goes to Twitch, it goes to Facebook. Their server on Restream apparently had a glitch that dropped us.
Yeah.
And then Jonas worked hard to get us back online as quickly as he could. He got us on a separate stream, and then I think he went back and he hit record as soon as he knew there was a problem. So we're going to edit all that together. We're going to have a complete game at the point that we can put that out. But these things happen. Like, we don't have a satellite truck that we pull up and we're not ESPN.
No, we're not.
We're not Fox Sports. I feel like I say we're not the NFL on Fox a lot, but we're not.
We're literally 3 dudes with personal computers and some equipment that we've happened to pick up along the
tables,
way.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
bringing in our own tables, bringing in our own mics, and the team has bought some equipment and we've bought some equipment, and that's how we're making this work. Bear with us. It's, I guarantee you it's worth the price you're paying for it. When you watch it on YouTube or Facebook, the amount of money you paid for it, it's worth that.
Yes.
At least that. So,
unless you want to start sending us hundreds of dollars.
Right.
And we'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
For sure.
And we'll work really hard to improve on that.
And it's funny because last night was the first time that I think we got some negative reviews.
What? Who?
Even from a guy there in the stadium. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on him because I am the kind of person that will really focus on the one guy that walked by me and gave me a thumbs down while I was on the microphone. God. I'm that kind of guy that will really
I don't see him going up there and
focus
helping y'all
on that.
out.
I've heard tons of other people say that they really enjoyed the stream and enjoyed the fact that we had it. So I'm going to concentrate on all that because you're always going to have those drive-by people that are that want to just crap on what you're doing.
Always look at the negative.
So things are getting better. Like we talked 2 weeks ago, getting a football team on the field in 15 months was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now we're seeing improvements made to that product, and I don't think they're going to stop with a field. Mm-hmm. I think there are other improvements that'll be coming. Each and every game, I think you're going to see things that are getting better. In fact, we've heard from the team, we've heard from players today after the game. I saw a player on a fan comment that said, "Hey, I really enjoyed the game, had a great time." And a player came back and said, "Keep coming back. It's going to get better. Mm-hmm. It's just going to keep getting better." So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some on-the-field football because there's some conversation to be had there.
Yep.
We are a football podcast, and there was a football game, so we can talk about football a little bit. And then we can move on to some other things, some things coming up in the future. So, Smoking Guns Podcast, stick with us for a few minutes. We'll be right back. Smoking Guns Podcast is excited to have JD's Bar and Grill be the ones that bring you the show.
Awesome. Awesome.
They bring you our mobile studio no matter where we go, and whether it's here at the Hideout like we are tonight or over on the wild, wild western side of San Antonio, if we're lining up in the San Antonio Rose Palace.
Wow.
Or
They're there.
At JD's Bar and Grill, and that's coming up sooner than you may know. We'll talk about that in a little while. JD's Bar and Grill is with us wherever we go.
Everywhere.
They are located at 2000 Southeast Loop 410, but that probably doesn't mean anything to you. It's the Rigsby exit.
Right.
They are on the Walmart side, on the Walmart corner of that space.
Rigsby and 410.
Right across from Security Services. And they've got drinks.
Yes, they do.
They got drink specials.
I wish those went with me wherever we went.
That would be nice.
They have food. They have pool. They have darts. They have plenty of TVs to watch all of the sporting events.
Parking is free.
Parking is free. And you can go and enjoy, it's March Madness right now.
Oh, yes.
Final Four time.
Yep.
University of Houston making the Final
The
Four.
Cougars.
Right.
And you can go watch those games right there at JD's Bar and Grill. Their signs actually say JD Sports Bar as you drive by, right there at 410 and Rigsby. Go check them out. Tell them that you're a Gunslingers fan. Tell them that Smoking Guns
Tell them that we sent you. That's right.
And let them know that their money is well spent because they have helped us out, and we want to help them out and make sure that they get all the love that they deserve.
Absolutely.
For sponsoring our podcast. Speaking of sponsors that we love, and we want to give lots of love to, Teardrop Pepper Company.
Yes.
Chris out there at Teardrop Pepper Company was just out at the
game.
Last night. He set up his little booth
With his Hawaiian shirt.
sold his product, gave away samples.
Showed off his product. Yeah.
Everybody got a chance
Yummy.
to sample and taste
And they
it.
loved it. They really did.
That habanero sauce went with that sausage wrap so
man,
good.
it was good.
It was like it just went so well
Like
together.
peanut butter
It was
and
like
jelly.
peanut butter and jelly.
What's great about that golden habanero sauce and the Supreme Serrano
Yes.
is, it's just, it goes on everything.
Yes.
It works well on everything. A sausage wrap, put it on there. My nachos, sure, why not? Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I'll try it.
Sure. Okay.
Jeremy got a couple bottles, and I saw him post that he's already used like half of both bottles on his lunch today.
Yep, on his lunch
Wow.
today. He said, I got to get more. If you want to get it, you can't just walk into the store and buy it.
No.
It's just not in HEB yet. They are hand making it up
That's
in
right.
Austin. Chris and his wife,
Sarah.
Sarah are making it up there in Austin. They'll bring it down to Gunslingers games from time to time, but your easiest way to get it fast
Order it now.
is to go online to teardroppepperco.com and order. Use the offer code ARENA, ARENA.
That's right.
And save 10% on your order. You can also get in touch with them on all the social medias at Teardrop Pepperco. Smoking Guns Podcast, Philip Higginbotham, R.C. Woods, Leo Yamas, hanging out with you and talking football. Actually, we just talked about the experience of a football game earlier. Right. And we'll talk more about that because we've got some fans that, some fan reaction that we've seen over the past few hours because it was just a few hours ago that we were all at the Rose Palace watching the game. But there was a football game. And it bears some of our time as a football podcast to talk about the football game. So San Antonio ends up taking the win.
Woo!
Right.
34-24 win.
Just narrowly avoiding a pretty sizable
It was a
comeback.
good game. Very
For sure.
exciting, though. Very exciting.
Tale of two halves, tale of lots of flags.
Absolutely. Whoa, man.
You could say it was a flag ball game.
I was going to say, I kept yelling, it's not flag football,
Flag
it's arena football.
So the things that stand out immediately to you guys, obviously the officiating, the flags, and I want to be careful. I know that there's been lots of talk already in the last few hours about the officiating being terrible. It wasn't good.
Right.
Right.
But it wasn't unfair. Like it was poor, but it was poor to both teams.
It was poor both ways. And then also a different perspective to look at it. It all kind of started after things got ugly, and maybe this crew just didn't have a whole lot of experience dealing with some of the ugly stuff that was happening out there. And so it threw them off their game,
Well, I could tell you, Chino's dad was very vocal about this. It seemed like the time that the referees would gather to discuss what they were going to do next took forever.
They
know what I mean?
certainly took a long
And I was like,
time.
thank God we don't have a time score because we'd be here forever. I mean, like this game should have been done sooner, but they took so long to come up with a decision. And I think that was really very apparent that maybe they didn't know what they were doing, maybe they did, but it just came across like they didn't. And like I said, Cheeto's dad was very upset about that.
So I know that there was some discussion on your post. You posted on the San Antonio, I'm sorry, not San Antonio Gunslingers, on the Smokin Guns.
Yes.
About the best player on the
best defensive player. Yeah,
just having some fun,
of course,
with the referee being on there.
And
one of the Austin Wild players that had an interception that ended up getting called down where he intercepted the ball said, "Yeah, it was ridiculous," or not saying actually saying you're wrong, Smoking Guns podcast. It was called badly for us because I wasn't down.
Right.
Freely admit. He was not down.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see it that way. Leo didn't see it that way. We were in the booth right up above that play.
It definitely went both ways. I'm not saying,
but on the other side of that, like, and he would have scored a touchdown. Like, he would have gone into the end zone. There was nobody that would have stopped him. On the other side of that, though, Joey Fisher had a touchdown called back for a phantom holding penalty that I didn't see either.
Yeah,
again, on both sides, like that player, and I can't remember his name right now. It was Masoko? Number 4, right?
Yeah, Mbua Masoko or something like that, yeah.
And I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, and I hope I'm not, but that's my best guess was Masoko as I looked at my roster. And he's right. Like, he's not wrong. He was not down in my estimation. I know somebody else came along, Kali Rashad, somebody said, well, actually, as you were flying through the air to make that interception, I touched you, which would mean that you were down by contact. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
Suffices to say that they felt like they got hosed on a call.
True.
That would have led to a touchdown. But the Gunslingers also feel like they got hosed by a call that would have led to a touchdown. It was
on 2 separate touchdowns, because then there was the other one where I think it was Kali Rashad who was breaking the plane to score, and then all of a sudden it ended up in a turnover, and I don't think they agreed with that call either.
So I think it was a poorly officiated game.
Right. It was.
But it was poorly officiated fairly.
Yeah, both ways.
Unfortunately.
Sounds like an oxymoron.
And it was an officiating crew. Now, this could go against everybody but us, the broadcast crew, really. We're the only ones that did things right here.
Of course. Of course, Philip.
But a poorly officiated game in that things got chippy early.
Very.
And the referees, the officials didn't take control of things.
That's true.
And for that matter, I don't feel like coaches took care of things very well.
Nope.
And I don't feel like players took care of things very well. And I know that they also have looked back and seen some of that, because we've actually seen apologies from players today on the Gunslingers saying, we didn't do our best on that, and we're going to do better. Which, on one side, I love the fact that you're passionate about football and you're amped up, and I get that, and I understand all of that. For you to be able to say after the fact, within 24 hours of, hey, I wish I'd conducted myself a little better, and I wish we had conducted ourselves a little better, and we want you to be proud of us as the San Antonio Gunslingers, I also respect that. Like, I get where you were at in the moment, and I get where you're at now when you look back at it, and I can respect all of that. And I'm sure Austin feels the same way. I'm not as connected on my social media to Austin. So I'm sure there are players over there going, man, we could have handled ourselves a lot better. Like, we didn't have to try to go into the crowd and fight a guy.
Yeah, it definitely escalated. You know what I'm saying? It definitely escalated.
But ultimately, the people that have control of that is the officials in the game.
And they were not taking control.
And for as much as they like to penalize and throw flags, they did not do so in such a way that forced teams to get all of that under control.
Right.
I felt like they were just as petty with their flags as some of the, players and coaches got with them.
But not only flags, they were throwing hats. I mean, I saw everything going on.
Yeah, when you've already
thrown
your flag, you got nothing less to throw.
I was like, what's coming next? My God.
Talking about that and kind of overcompensating, we heard the story about the one referee that stopped play.
Yeah, so we've got.
God, yeah.
So here's our disclaimer. We've got this story about referees, about officials having conversations with coaches on the Gunslinger side. We did not hear this firsthand.
Right.
We don't know that it happened. However, I will tell you, 2 coaches from the Gunslinger side have sworn that this is exactly the conversation that happened.
And we did see the stoppage in play.
And we saw the stoppage in play, and we said,
what was going on. Yeah.
We don't know what that is. At one point, we thought it was something to do with the lights on the DJ booth flashing across the field and that bothering the officials because it could be a distraction during play. That was originally what I thought it was. Apparently, the referees told coaches on the Gunslinger side that the DJ needed to stop with the music and that if any fans started chanting defense, he was going to penalize the Gunslinger.
That's ridiculous.
Right. Like how do you tell a home team's home crowd to not chant or cheer?
I could see if we were doing vulgarity, but defense? Come on.
Now the music, I can see that. There's a time to play music during play, and there's a time when you're not supposed to.
For sure.
And I don't know.
Anytime you've ever been to an NBA game.
Right.
You've heard the DJ cut things off when play started and they didn't expect it. Like there are very specific rules around sports with music. So I'm okay with actually that request. Like the DJ doesn't need to be playing right now. It can be a distraction to whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that.
Sure, yeah.
On some level. On another level, I'm like, you get over it. You know, this isn't the NBA. This isn't the NFL. This isn't, you know.
And I thought the music was actually at a better level than it was the first
Well,
game.
we'll talk about that because there were some changes there.
Yeah, definitely changes.
I want to talk a little bit about that. However, for a referee to tell, and again, we're getting this, we didn't hear this specifically ourselves, but this is the story that we've gotten from the coaches. To tell them that if the fans chant for their defense or if the fans cheer too loud, that they will penalize the home team in the fourth quarter of a football game that is tightly contested.
Insane.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Insane.
If that is the case,
not okay.
That is absolutely asinine.
And I hope, and I know that they listen to the show, I hope that the ownership of the San Antonio Gunslingers will attempt to verify that and will send that up the chain because the league needs to hear about that kind of
true.
Right.
Now, how can we not get them to come back, or is that how do we pick the referees? Maybe I'm just not knowledgeable enough about that.
I don't know. Crews are assigned to different games, different types. Depends on scheduling. I'm pretty sure that if that's the case, that ownership is going to request to not have that crew again. They probably already have put in that request.
I hope so.
But I mean, part of having a loud chanting home crowd, I mean, you want that. As a league, you want that. You want there to be engaging. You want them to be loud.
You want fans to be involved in the game.
And we were screaming our heads off.
Yeah, so I don't understand that. I don't
because it makes no sense.
It just doesn't make any sense on any level. And if that's my understanding is this crew was the same crew that was with us in Mississippi with a different referee. So white hat with a different white hat, but the same crew.
Well, they handled the Mississippi game a lot better.
Yeah, the Mississippi game was no game is ever perfectly officiated. The Mississippi game was
pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
This game was not. Lots of stoppages in play while they gathered together and powwowed, and that always bothers me. Like, know your craft well enough. Know you're and a lot of that goes down to the guy with the white hat because he's in charge. Mm-hmm. And at some point, you got to say, "Hey, we just got to make a call. What did you see? Okay, I'm going to interpret it that way, and we're going to make that call."
Too much lollygagging.
Right.
Yeah.
Too much lollygagging.
They were just not on the same page. I mean, the one kick, or it was an extra point that looked like it went through the goalpost from our perspective where we were standing. We were very close to where the goalposts are. And you see one official raising both his arms up in the typical motion of it's good, and then another official disagreeing, and then they have to meet on that. I mean, that's one of the simplest things to You're supposed to
through?
position yourself to be able to see that and call that. And the guy who was calling it good was the one in position standing underneath the goalpost.
Yeah,
and he was the one that was overruled.
And the white hat that overruled him, the referee that overruled him, told Coach Q that it was wide left, and we were on the left side.
Right.
Of the, so, I mean, the ball would have had to pass between Leo and I and the goalpost, and the goalpost was only about 15 yards away from us, that goalpost.
Right.
So I'm not saying that he's wrong, because I don't have a real great angle with that, but I'm saying if it had been wide to that side, I think I would have noticed it.
So you're saying he needs glasses?
I'm saying I think they made the wrong call there.
Exactly.
Wouldn't be the first time you could make some kind of cartoon or meme with the referee needing, being visually impaired.
But again, poorly officiated game, but poorly officiated on both sides. I felt like.
Yes,
I don't feel like anybody got an advantage from the poor officiating.
I was just joking about that.
The game on the field was really a tale of two halves. The first half was dominated by the San Antonio Gunslingers defense.
As dominating a performance as you'll ever see, other than the one score they gave up at the very end of the half.
But Cody Brooks and Jonathan Taylor, and then the defensive backfield that got a little easier job in the first half because their quarterback, Carl Robinson, was running for his life through most of the first half. But when he did get a chance to look around, there wasn't anybody open. Like, he didn't have anybody to dump the ball off.
They were covered. Yeah, Jaleel Ali back there and J.C. Collier and Darius Banks, they were doing an excellent job in coverage.
One of the things that we noted in the broadcast is that there is a big difference between the halves. I've always said that my understanding of really good coaching is when you can make adjustments at halftime and be better, come out better. Benny King, and we talked a little bit about his record at the beginning of the broadcast.
There's a reason he has a record like that.
It's something like 57-13 or something like now 57-14 or whatever it is. He's won more games than he's lost, considerably more. There's a reason he's a good coach, because he saw that his quarterback did not have time to put together their game plan, to put together the plays they had in their game plan. So he pulled him back into a shotgun position, further back from the line.
Max protection. And
put in an extra full back, which was really just an extra lineman to provide protection. And the game changed on that decision.
That it did.
Yes.
He had more time. He didn't have oodles of time, but he had more time to make
plays.
To make his plays. And they got back. They climbed back in a game. They were down 20 at halftime, and they got all the way within 2 until the San Antonio Gunslingers were able to punch the ball across the goal. And then the play of the game, really,
absolutely,
was an extra point, which you don't hear very often. But it was an extra point that was botched, like the play of the game.
Awesome.
We were excited because we had been following this team for so long and have seen Manny Nunez and what he is capable of in practice and throughout training camp. So we were excited to finally get a chance to see him in action in this game, because he had missed the first 2 games because he got married, was honeymoon stuff. But it's just ironic that the iconic play from his first game, the play to remember, the play of the game to remember, is not a play that he made with his foot, but a play he made with his arm.
Yep.
And his wife was sitting right behind us. Oh my God! The roar behind me, I thought I was going to go deaf. I mean, they were screaming their hearts out, and they're like, Manny, So it was a lot of fun to be exactly at that spot when that play happened.
And the icing on the cake for that play was the flex right in the face of the defender after the catch. Oh,
so if you have no idea what we're talking about, I don't know why you're listening to the show without having watched the game. But Manny is the kicker. He's a kicker that does not look like a kicker. He looks like a defensive end.
Big guy.
But the ball comes back on a snap for the extra point on the Gunslingers' final touchdown and is fumbled on the hold, bobbled on the hold, goes through the hands and winds up at the feet of the kicker, Manny Nunez, who reaches down calmly.
Yes.
Really. Reaches down, picks the ball up, looks downfield, and Joey Fisher recognizes that the play is broken.
Yes.
And rushes out into the end zone. And Manny just lays the ball over everybody else.
Yes.
Right into Joey Fisher. Just a pitch and catch. Really simple.
Right.
But what's funny about that situation is everybody in that situation panics.
Yes.
Because this is not what we planned.
Right.
This is not what we do.
And it takes everybody on the field taking care of their job for an extra 3 or 4 seconds to make this play happen. And that never happens.
But it happened.
It's always a panic moment for everybody on the field. And you have linemen who go beyond the line of scrimmage and now they're ineligible receiver downfield. So that those get called back for a receiver to recognize that there's a broken play, for the kicker to be able to just have the ball wind up at his feet, pick that ball up calmly and just
accurately
lay it over the crowd. It didn't
over
take
the defense. Yeah.
It didn't take a perfect touch pass or anything like that. He wasn't covered because that's not what the play was supposed to be. For all of that to work out well, it was an incredible play, and it gave the Gunslingers padding. It turned an 8-point lead into a 10-point lead, making it a 2-possession game. Right.
And to give a lot of credit where it's due, you got to give credit for Manny for the wherewithal, the awareness to pick up that ball and make the pass.
Yep.
But if you look at the play, I've rewatched the play a couple of times now. You see Joey Fisher, who's blocking. You know, he's blocking to keep them from coming in and the defense from blocking the kick. So he's on his blocking assignment, turns, realizes that the play is botched, sees Manny Nunez reaching down he sees him as he's already lifted the ball up off the turf and coming up with it. And Joey Fisher immediately motions with his arm to Manny, I'm going this way.
Yeah.
Right.
And spins away from the guy he's engaged in the block and makes his route to now as a route that he's running to the end zone. Manny very alertly sees Joey. There's that communication between the two of them. Just an excellent job by both of those guys to make that play happen. It was amazing.
And the Palace roared. I mean, it was on fire, let me tell you.
Yeah, that and Michael Williams' kickoff return for a touchdown were probably the two loudest moments in the Palace.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
There in the first half. An incredible return.
I knew it was coming. I was standing up already, like, go, go. And people were still sitting down. I'm like, no, go, go. And then everyone's like, oh, yeah, he is going. You know?
I really wish you could. I really wish people could have seen that from our perspective. Our perspective up in that booth, and I use that word loosely.
A little balcony.
That little balcony that we were on. Our view from there is usually not the best place to see all of the action. You can hear it on the broadcast that we get confused on yard lines from time to time. It's just not a really good angle. It's where we're at and it's fine. But it's not the perfect angle to do a game from. However, in that moment when Michael Williams took that ball and really from the moment he received it, I was looking down the barrel, like, when you talk about looking down the barrel of a gun, I was looking down the barrel of the seam that he could take.
Yeah.
I mean, it was lined up right on me.
It was like seeing the Red Sea part
exactly
right down the middle.
And so as soon as he took the ball and that seam opened, I said, he's got a chance to take this all the way.
He's gone.
Yeah.
I knew it.
And he did, and that was a really loud moment, too.
So for those who don't see you, that you're in that little balcony, it reminded me of Romeo and Juliet. Like, I wanted to go over there and say, Romeo, where out there, Romeo? You guys looked really cute.
What's funny, and I know the players and coaches listen. We are right above the Gunslingers bench area, and so we hear a lot. Like there is a benefit to being where we are because they don't think about us being right over their heads, because they're concentrating on the game, and so we hear a lot. And see a lot. Now I've got headphones on and I'm doing something else. So
Very busy.
I'm not eavesdropping a whole lot, but there are moments like Cody Brooks calling the defense over near the end of the first half and saying, we can't worry about what they're doing. And I don't know who he was talking about. I don't know if he was talking about Austin and the way that they were getting chippy or if he was talking about the referees. But he said, we can't worry about what they do. We have to play our game.
Right.
And so a really good captain moment from Cody Brooks that I hear because of where we're placed. So everything's a trade-off. There's great things about where we're sitting, and there's rough things about where we're sitting. But that particular play Like, we were able to watch it line up. He ran practically directly at us for the first 35 or 40 yards of that before he made a cut. It was just kind of right down the barrel at us.
Yep.
And it was pretty incredible.
It was lots of fun.
Austin Wild will come back in 2 weeks on April 12th. Mm-hmm. And what I think is very interesting about that game is neither team walked away from this game saying, feeling like they played a good game.
No.
Like Austin lost, and they felt like they were just, had we done one or two things differently,
they could have won.
We would have won this game. On the flip side of that, San Antonio walks away from this game and goes, we had this thing in control and lost control of this game.
And the offense never really got into a rhythm. They were not effective.
No.
The defense carried them this game, and the offense has some weapons, and I don't think any of those guys came off the field thinking that they put their best performance out there.
Yeah, so both teams are going to come into this game on the 12th with something to prove, because both of them feel like, wow, we
2 or 3
could have done better.
It would have been a different game.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the football on the field. We're going to take another break real quick, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the things coming up.
All right.
Because we got a couple of things coming up, not the least of which that game against Austin that is coming up in less than 2 weeks. It's almost
and some
here
fun activities
already.
Too.
So stick with us. Smoking Guns Podcast. We'll be right back after this. Smoking Guns Podcast is excited to offer you a way to be a part of our team. We have a huge team. It's not just the three of us.
Oh, no, God, no.
We have Jonas that does a lot of work with us. You don't get to see or hear from him very often. We need to get him on the show.
That is true.
Yeah,
and just have him come in so that people know him. He's a great guy.
He needs to be known as Jonas, not Mr. Cameraman.
Right, for sure.
He's so much more.
We have your wife and Jerry, your husband, and Diana, and
Shout
the girls
out to all our spouses
that are part of our team, because they allow us to do this and spend 2 nights a week doing Gunslingers work. But you can be a part of our team without being married to us, or without running the camera and the stream for the broadcasting. Like, you can be a part of the team without doing all the hard, heavy lifting.
True.
You can sign up to be part of our team on Patreon.
Yeah. We need you. We want you.
You go to www.patreon.com/SmokinGunzPod. That's smoking, no G, guns with a Z.
That's right. Pod.
P-O-D. And sign up for the $5, $10, or $20 level to support the show. We've had 3 Patreons in the past week.
Isn't that amazing?
Jump on board.
Yes.
And we're going to recognize them later, but we do want to go ahead and say thank you to Humphrey. Thank you to Adriana and Warren.
Thank you.
They jumped on this week and became part of the team. You can do that. We're not getting rich off of this. We're just making things go. And we need that little bit of support. Just helps everything go for us.
True.
So go to Patreon if you're able, patreon.com. Sign up to be part of the Smoking Guns team. We'd really appreciate it. Smoking Guns Podcast, Philip Higginbotham, R.C. Woods, Leo Yamas, sitting around talking about football because we had a football game last night.
Woo-hoo.
Yes, we did.
And a big W.
We did. And
2-1, baby.
Right? 2-1. Austin Wild coming in here in a couple of weeks.
The 12th, right? April 12th?
Yeah, April 12th. Not this coming Monday, which is the 5th.
Right.
But on the 12th. But if you're jonesing, if you're like, but I want to hang out.
That's right.
With my Gunslingers family and
posse.
friends. The posse. We've got good news for you.
Excellent news.
We are going to take this week off, and it's not going to be a week off for us.
Nope.
We were going to record a show anyway, but we decided, hey, let's get everybody together at a great place to get everybody together.
That's right.
And spend some time with our Gunslingers family.
Family?
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, I think so. Fans.
It's your word.
I know. Yeah, I know. Family.
And we're going to go to JD's Bar and Grill next week on Monday the 5th.
Woo!
We're going to record the podcast there.
Live, right?
Live.
Woo!
But we're not going to broadcast. Like, we're not going to do it on Facebook Live.
You have to be there live.
You're going to have to be there
in person
to be a part of it. And we've got some players that have already said, scheduled to appear. That's how you're supposed to say this. Oh, we got some players that say they're going to try to be there. Mm-hmm. I've seen Joey Fisher.
Yes.
Say that he's going to try to make it out. And I've seen Callaway Lee.
Yep.
Nice.
fullback. Say he's going to try to make it out, and we just put it out today, so I'm sure there are other players.
Can we ask the cheerleaders to go?
We can ask anybody. Like, anybody can go. It's
Yay!
a bar, so
I
we're
love
not going to
it.
tell anybody.
You have to be 21, though. You
Yeah.
have to be 21.
Do you? Yeah, I guess you would have to be 21.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like I used to go to bars before I was 21.
Really?
They just put that giant X on you.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Nobody else knows about that?
I know about that.
No,
yeah,
I'm
if you're
sure.
underage.
I'm sure, but
Anyway, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
If we can ask anyone to go, I'd like to ask for Jennifer Aniston and Sofia Vergara to please go.
Okay,
What
well,
were
there
we
you go.
doing? Just asking random people to go?
That's
Well,
not random
he
people.
said-
Well, I'm
He
just
said we
saying.
could ask anybody.
I'm not sure how Dolores will feel
Okay. Well,
about
I'm
your
asking,
guest list.
I'm
She'll be
asking
okay
the
with it.
I'm asking the cheerleaders to come on and party with us.
So we're going to be out there, players. We're inviting some of the coaches. Ownership, I think, is already planning on being out there. We're trying to talk them into bringing out the merchandise.
Woo!
So
yes.
if you're trying to get a hold of your
a
Gunslingers
lot
hat,
of people want some
or
merchandise.
your Gunslingers shirt, or your Gunslingers tumbler.
Tumblr. I think it's called merch now. They don't say merchandise. It's like a
I
head
said
thing.
merch. Didn't I say merch?
No, you said
I thought I
merchandise.
said merch.
All right. Either way, merch.
Whatever.
Merch.
They're gonna, we're trying to talk them into. They haven't promised they're bringing that out, but I feel relatively sure that if there are people there that want to buy stuff, they're gonna have stuff.
I want
with
a
them.
jersey.
No, we don't want your money.
What do
Yeah.
you want, Leo?
Please not.
What merch would you want?
I could use another T-shirt. I'd probably get the other hat too because I only have one of them. I'll
Yeah,
get
so
both of them.
I do need to get another hat. I have one
What
that
happened
is
to it?
an exclusive hat.
Yes.
No, nothing's
Oh,
happened to it.
okay.
It's mine. But I do want to, probably get a hat. And then the blue shirt. They have a blue Gunslinger shirt
Yeah.
that I really like.
The tumblers are nice too. I just
want-
want everything.
The sweatshirt. Do you think they'll have the sweatshirts? Because I like the sweatshirts.
I don't think so. It's April.
People are cold.
You
I'm
don't-
always cold.
You don't traditionally sell a lot of sweatshirts in April?
But they have them. They were wearing them last night. It,
It
does
was
get
cool
cold.
last
It
night
does
at
get
the
cold
game.
in there. Come on, Philip. Give me one.
April.
Doesn't matter.
I'm just saying. It's
April in
spring
Chicago was
in
cold.
South Texas. We're not in Chicago.
I know, but still felt cold yesterday.
This is
I
San
was
Antonio,
cold.
Texas. Summer is here.
Well, I want a jersey.
Late March
I want a jersey.
to early November is summer. So
You know what I want?
What do you want?
I want a helmet.
you do still want your helmet.
I want a helmet.
They have not gotten you the helmet yet, huh?
Not yet, but we're working on that.
All right.
Okay, so,
So
helmet,
April 5th
hat, jersey.
at JD's Bar and Grill.
Yeah, baby.
There's a Facebook event out there. You can go find all the information there. We will be recording out there. We will record our show, which means if you've just always wanted to be on the show, and that goes for players, cheerleaders, coaches,
Fans,
owners, although I think all the owners have been on the show.
except Juan
That's true. Juan hasn't.
One, yeah.
And Alba.
and Alba.
Although she's a patron, she's
Yeah.
always welcome on the show.
Always.
We need to get Coach Q on the show.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, yeah. Coach Q, where you at?
So if you've always wanted to be, we're not going to promise to get everybody that shows up on the show.
Coach
It
Louis.
can't
Coach
be
Louis, too. We
a
forgot
4-hour
Coach Louis.
show.
Jennifer Aniston, Sofia Vergara.
Oh,
If
here we go
either one of
again.
them shows up, they're going to be on the
All right, Leo.
But come on out, enjoy some time. It's an off week for everybody.
Yeah.
So we might as well gather together and have a couple of drinks, some good food, throw some money JD's Bar and Grill way because they've helped us out.
show. Yes.
No, don't
and
we
made
owe
our
people
show.
drinks?
I
That
want
we,
that
on the
margarita.
last show, we said if someone did something,
No, we
I'd
did.
get them a drink.
We
or
said
something.
that if whoever signed up for Patreon
Yeah.
next, we were going to cover drinks for them, and we've had a couple of people respond, but they got to come out to get
Warren?
their drink.
Yeah.
So
Alba.
no, Alba's been a Patreon for a long
Who
time.
else?
A Patreon for a long time. But Warren, I wasn't ready with this list yet.
I'm sorry,
We're
honey.
doing this later. But our new ones are Warren, Adriana, and
Silence. I've never seen
Humphrey?
him. I want to say Humphrey.
Humphrey? Yeah. That
Humphrey
sounds right.
Hernandez. That's it.
Humphrey
That's
Hernandez.
Humphrey
You got
Hernandez.
it.
Those are our new patrons over the last week, but they got to come out.
They
to
come out.
collect
That's
their drink.
A drink from each one of us. Three patrons, three
I
drinks.
want to say Humphrey doesn't live in Texas, so
I don't think so. I think he's in Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
I think he's part of the Bustamante group, and he's out in Hawaii, I think. So I don't think he's going to fly all the way in from Hawaii for a free drink. However,
I'd trade places with him.
Right.
Me too. In a heartbeat.
For sure. April 5th, we will be promoting that event like crazy on Facebook, and we want to see everybody out there. Like, we want to pack the place.
Right, and we're going to play pool. At least didn't I challenge someone to play pool or something?
I have no idea.
You put the challenge out there for whoever wants to play you. You'll play them.
Okay, that's cool.
I did hear you say that.
Darts, not so much, but pool, I can try.
I mean, we're going to be recording a show, so
I can have a break.
No,
how about
no
after
breaks.
So we're gonna have the show the whole time.
Yes.
So I can't go to the restroom.
Then we won't be able to drink though.
Yeah, that's no fun. I need my drink on.
I mean, we sit up in a booth for 3.5 hours and talk about Gunslingers football. You can't do that?
No. I'm happy where I'm at. I wouldn't mind doing some interviews, some sideline interviews, but I am definitely happy with the fans.
So that's coming up on Monday the 5th. This next Monday, the next one on your calendar.
Right after Easter.
You're going to want to come out 6:30, JD's Bar and Grill, 410 at the Rigsby exit. Come join us, and we'll have a great time recording a podcast together.
And parking is free.
Yeah.
Parking is free. Hey, we could have a contest. We could take like one of the lines outside of the parking lot and have Callaway out there, and if you and 3 people can stop him from crossing the line, then you win a prize. No one will stop him.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know
sounds
if
like a good way to get somebody injured, actually. And I'm not talking about Callaway.
No, you have to sign a disclaimer.
Sign
a waiver.
Yeah. Signed a waiver.
We got an issue with people here in San Antonio thinking they want to take on football players already.
Yeah.
How about football players trying to take on fans?
There was an issue, but that was, let's be fair, and I don't know who the fan was, and they may be a listener.
I do know. Yes, I surely do. Her name is Ellen Erlewine. Erlewein. Ellen.
So the player was climbing the rail to get into a fight with a female fan?
Yes, to tell her to, can I say shut up? I don't usually like that word, but to tell her to shut up because she was cheering defense. Like, hopped over the dasher.
Okay.
So this is her perspective. So,
whatever.
I wasn't there, but that's what they're saying.
Interesting. Not the way I would go if I were a professional football player, which is what these guys are. I mean, they're not NFL players or anything, but you're a professional football player. So we talked about this a little on the broadcast. I think it bears repeating. Fans pay their money and really should have the right to say or do a lot. Like, I don't agree with everything that some fans say or do, but you paid your money. You have your ticket. You should be able to boo when you're upset. You should be able to yell.
Well, there's limits to it.
Except the wave. No
should
wave.
never be disrespectful to someone.
True.
But as a professional, you should also know how to kind of just let that slide off your shoulder.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. There's a lot of idiots out there.
On the flip side of that, I was going to say, you should always be respectful.
Yes.
On some level. And maybe even more so in this level because there's not a lot of room between you and the player that you think you're going to badmouth and yell at. And there's no guarantee that he's not going to come over and just knock your block off. And well, then I'll sue him. Okay, but you're still going to, have to deal with the pain of getting a large athlete upset with you. So, I mean, on some level, maybe both sides need to take a step back and say, hey, I need to be more professional as a professional football player and let that stuff roll off my back a little bit. But also fans need to recognize that, there's a line I can cross that will get me in some trouble.
Right.
Well, I will say that now the rumor has it that this player, I'm not going to say who, or maybe you guys want me to say who,
no,
but he actually was or had tried out with the Gunslingers, did not make the team or was cut from the team, went over to the Austin Wild, and this was the player that was very upset. And I don't think at any point you need to jump over a dasher and verbally attack a fan. I just don't see any reason for that. And so, I don't know. You're a player. You're supposed to be professional. You're supposed to show your skill on the field, not jumping over a dasher board.
Yeah,
That's just me.
Sure. But you have to recognize that as a fan in the stands and that close to players, that they're only human. And if you get under their skin enough.
But from what she was saying, she was just saying defense. Again, that word defense.
Something
was,
like that definitely.
That she wasn't like antagonizing or anything like that. She was just saying defense, and apparently that irritated the referrals also. But that's what she said.
Players and referees have problems with the
word defense.
Fans
that's
chanting
the big
defense,
D word.
I guess,
the big D word
at a football game.
We didn't get a lot of clarification.
That's weird.
But Coach Q did hit social media today and say that there were some things said at Austin Wild players that was wholly inappropriate.
Oh, okay.
And asked fans to be more respectful.
And we may be talking about two separate events.
This
could be something else. Yeah,
right. But I think, just as the team wants to put out a good product and they want San Antonio to be proud of them, we also need to do the same as fans, just to put that out there too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the great majority of fans conduct themselves well.
Yeah, we were killing it, let me tell you.
It's always that handful of people that think that they bought their ticket and have the right to say and do anything that always bring up these conversations. And I'm not saying that this person that you talked with is that kind of person. I'm just saying that everybody can do better.
Okay. Well, I will say she was a Commander fan, so she's been following us for a while. So
that's great.
Yeah,
we're excited about it.
Thank you, Ellen, for that.
And it sounds like we're talking about two
different events.
So.
It doesn't sound
really
like she's that case where she said anything that deserved that kind of response.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think so.
No. But if you are one of those folks, stop it. If you are one of those folks that said something that was wholly inappropriate, you know who you are. Mm-hmm. And you know what you said.
I did say, I don't know if that would be for me, because when the referees were talking and taking a long time, I said, what happens if I streak down the field? Would they notice? Is that inappropriate? I'm joking.
Yeah, this isn't the Super Bowl.
See, but I think we needed that.
You're not going to make any money.
They were taking forever to make their decisions. I was like, my God, they really were.
They were. They took some time. We did look up the rule book. Leo looked up the rule book, and they were applying the kickoff rules correctly.
It actually does go to the 20-yard line, apparently. But when you kick the ball and it hits the ceiling surface out of play, that also should go to the 20-yard line, not where you thought the ball hit at the point that there was contact.
Some good, some bad.
Wishy-washy.
It's a new league, new teams, new referees, I'm sure. Everybody's learning.
Everything is new and everyone's learning. Yep.
So when Austin comes back in 2 weeks, you're going to see two motivated teams. Do you think that's true?
Absolutely, I do. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Austin's going to be highly motivated to show that they can continue what they were doing in the second half, and the Gunslingers are going to be highly motivated to show that the first half wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very physical game. I think they're definitely going to probably rewind the show that you guys already produced, because they're probably going to look at what they did well and what they didn't do well.
Yeah.
The broadcast.
It's almost like, we talk about halftime adjustments. It's almost like we're in a really long halftime now.
Yes.
Because both teams can go back and really make adjustments because they know
what the weaknesses are,
what the other side is going to bring to the table. But then it becomes the battle of wits from Princess Bride.
Right.
Do you think I'm going to do it, so I'm not going to do it now? But you would know that I thought that you thought that we were going to do that, so we're not going to do that anymore. But Princess I obviously can't choose the wine in front of you. Right. It's going to become that kind of moment in a way, because if you try to outguess with this much time, if you try to outguess your opponent, you really start getting in your own head a little bit.
That's true.
Right. I think the Gunslingers are going to try and just do the same thing they were doing, only do it better, especially on offense. And the Wild are definitely going to have to make adjustments in protection to get their quarterback more time. They know that much.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see. I think it's an interesting quirk of the schedule that both of these teams
for sure.
Get an opportunity to play each other
so quickly, I think.
Take a week off and then play each other again in the same venue. I mean, everything. It's really almost like an extended halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Gunslingers going to take the second one too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's going to be a good game. Very physical.
I guarantee a win on the breakfast taco battle. By the way.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Again, this is not an argument. This is not a battle at all. Like San Antonio wins that.
And I hope we don't get the same referees.
I got to imagine that both teams would be willing to say. Normally,
we want a different crew.
I know in high school football specifically. The officials are agreed upon by both teams.
Okay.
So they get a list of who the officials are, and if there's somebody that you've had on a crew before that did not treat you fairly, then you could say, hey, we don't want that official. We need a different official.
Well, one thing I do feel that we need to bring that was there on the first game, turkey legs.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of those walking around.
Yeah, and everyone loved them. I don't know why they didn't have them. Maybe because it was during the weekday and not a weekend. But if you're listening over there at the Rose Palace, we want turkey legs. We want turkey legs.
And we met Don, who runs the San Antonio Rose Palace.
Great guy.
86 years old, and he runs things out there.
And when you say run, you mean like slowly. I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, yeah. But just your typical old cowboy guy says exactly what's on his mind. Great guy.
I had asked him for something, and he's like, before you ask me, do you think I'll be able to do it? And I was like, yeah, I think you'll be able to do it. He's like, because if you don't think I can do it, don't ask. I was like, okay.
We were trying to figure out an internet issue, and we were like, how much do you know? He happened to walk by, and Jonas and I were standing there, and I said, how much do you happen to know about the internet? And he says, I don't know anything about any of that. What's your question?
But keep on
and I
going.
asked him his question. I asked him the question. He did actually have the information I needed.
He did.
So he knew more than he thought he did.
Good for him. He's a sweet man.
So we have lots of different ways that you could reach out to the show. You can always reach out on social media. On our Facebook is probably the most popular way for people to reach out to us. I would say so.
Easiest.
You can email the show. Nobody's ever done that.
You can send us messages, even make comments on the Facebook page.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of people do that. Nobody's ever emailed the show. And up until today, nobody's ever used Speakpipe. Except we got one today. And we're going to play it right now because that's what happens when you send us a Speakpipe message. You get on the show.
Yeah, baby.
So here we go. Here's our first ever Speakpipe phone message.
Where's my tambourine?
I don't know. It's supposed to be around here somewhere.
I think it just walked away.
All right, here we go.
What's going on, guys? My name is Herman. If you're familiar with me, how's it going? If you're not, I'm one of the official patrons of the amazing Smoking Guns podcast. Now, I'm officially the first Speakpipe user for this podcast. Now, Mo and Iris, a couple other patrons, I challenge you to be the next Speakpipe message. So what's up, guys? Like I said, first ever message. I feel like it's very, very fitting that it came after the first official Gunslingers win in the Rose Palace. Now, I know they won last week, but, today was a little bit sweeter. Let's all admit, it's a little bit sweeter when you win at home. When you're not, on the road, it's cool. You're on the road, took care of business, Mississippi. We did it. But, coming back into San Antonio, coming back into the Rose Palace, it was an amazing win. It was a win both for the Gunslingers and for the podcast. If you watched the game, I don't know if you watched it live, you might be watching a replay, you might have just watched some play-by-play, maybe you're listening to it here on the podcast, kind of catching up on what happened. Philip and Leo, you guys did amazing. Congratulations. RC, I'm sure you were there. I'm sure you were crazy. I wasn't there in person, like I said, but yeah, congratulations, guys. It was an amazing win for the Gunslingers. Back and forth, all game, whole lot of laundry, like Philip would say, whole lot of laundry everywhere. But it was a great win. Stream was a lot better. We'll see you guys.
And there he goes. That's that 90-second cutoff there. Getting ready to sign off there.
Woo!
But Herman,
he was close when he said I was getting crazy.
The first Speakpipe, and lots to say there. He's right. A home win feels different, feels better.
Right.
It has a lot to do with the fact that we did not have to climb on a bus for 13 hours.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
That certainly changes that home win a little bit.
Home advantage.
Yeah. It does. A home win feels different. We've gotten to see both, and it just feels better to be in front of your fans and win your game. I enjoyed most of yesterday, most of last night.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
what did you enjoy?
Little things.
Oh, okay.
Bunch of little things. Not a bunch even, but just little things.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that he points out the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank
He
you, Herman.
listens.
Says that we did a good job. I don't know. I do the job. I'm adequate.
I think
on
you're
some
above.
level.
Both of you guys
Learning
are doing
on
an
the job.
amazing
Yeah,
job.
we're definitely learning as we go on that.
Give yourself some more credit because you guys are doing an amazing job.
Jonas, I feel like, is killing it.
Right.
I feel like
him
Jonas
too.
does a great job. I realize that when I say that, people are like, yeah, but the stream dropped. But the fact that he didn't panic and got it back up within the time that he could, and the fact that he didn't panic and hit the record button so that we could go back and put it together, like that's impressive.
And people don't realize exactly how much he's doing all at the same time to make all of that work.
He's
and
running
flow.
the stream. He's doing all the technical thing. He's also currently the camera operator.
Wow.
Like he's doing all of that at the same time. We're sitting there talking about football. He's doing all the work.
Yeah.
So and I know some people are, the camera operator needs to be, and he sees that and we see that, and we'll try to make some adjustments. But just know that it's one guy doing a lot of work there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wearing many hats.
It's not just a guy behind a camera, like pointing the camera.
For sure. Oops, I said for sure. Dang it.
For sure.
We're gonna try not to do that.
Surely.
So Herman, we appreciate the message. You're right. RC was all over the place, as she always is. From the moment she pulled up, got out of her car, and she doesn't even know we were watching her.
You guys were?
We were.
Oh.
Yeah, we saw you.
We were over at our spot, or at Leo's spot, Dolores' spot, for the tailgate, and we were having our sausage wrap and whatever. And we see you pull in and then get out, and immediately, you immediately start gathering with fans and taking pictures talking to fans.
That's true.
There was no lap around the facility. There was no, let me go set my stuff down. It was immediately.
Let me go to the porta potty. No, none of that.
Well, there wasn't a. Yeah.
Okay.
You said Dolores was upset
At that
Why
particular
was she
time, she
upset?
wasn't very happy.
Wow, what's
Why?
going on?
Well, someone dinged her car.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I didn't know about that.
She was happy about the tailgating. She just wasn't happy that someone had just dinged her car.
Yeah, so somebody pulled up next to Dolores and opened their doors and dinged her new car.
Man.
Yeah.
Only had it about 6 months.
Yeah, it's a very, very new car, and it's a sizable ding, and it was not there when we pulled in. No.
And they knew they had done it because
They left
they
the note?
moved, right?
Well, Dolores moved. After
Did
that.
she move?
Dolores moved, but the size of the ding, it seemed like you have to know you hit another vehicle with force.
So whoever you are, and if you're listening to the show and you dinged a gray
Volkswagen
Volkswagen
SUV. Yeah.
SUV, boo on you.
Yeah.
Own up.
I'm going to have to pay for it.
Own up, because we all make mistakes, but that's why we all have insurance, right?
Or if somebody wants to volunteer to come and fix it, we have lots of fans.
Oh, yeah. Maybe someone out there knows a
Somebody-
paintless dent
yeah,
removal.
you never know.
Yeah. I can-
Come on,
You can just get. You're just supposed to pour hot water over it. Don't you watch Facebook? They tell you how to fix this stuff all the time. You just pour
With hot water.
hot water over it.
Huh.
But it doesn't have to be cold or something when you do that.
I have
or-
no idea.
I don't know.
I would be willing to say that probably doesn't work at all. But
Yeah.
I saw it on Facebook, so it has to.
It has to be true.
It's true. It was on
It's
Facebook.
like, it's
It
like a
must be
law
true.
now.
She wasn't happy about it,
I'm
but
sorry
that's
to hear
okay.
that.
That's
Speaking of things in the parking lot that made some people unhappy, we need to address something because some fans noticed. We got some questions. You noticed that there are tiers on the parking
Yeah.
Now for the San Antonio Rose Palace, it was not that way the first time through.
No, not at all.
It was $10 to
Yes,
park.
and then 20 if you had like a trailer or
Right.
an
If you were
which
taking
is
up
common,
extra,
We
spaces.
covered this extensively
Yeah.
in other shows. Yeah.
As you pulled up last night, or we don't want you to get caught off guard when you come on the 12th, there are tiers of parking now, and that's the important thing to remember, because some folks were like, they went up on parking. Well, no, they didn't actually go up on parking. Parking is still $10 for general parking. If you want to be in preferred parking, which is that front area right in front so that you can get out of your car and walk right up to the palace, it is where all the tailgating has taken place up to this point, but that's not to say you couldn't tailgate over in the general parking area. But if you want to park in that area, in the preferred parking, it's $20.
Yeah.
Because it's closer, because it's better parking, because it's nicer. So the important thing to remember is parking did not go up. It's not $20 to park.
But it was $10 when the first game.
It still is.
It's 20.
No.
You could still park for $10.
You can park
You're
for
just
$10.
parking on the side lot
farther
now.
away.
You're just
Yeah.
parking on the
But I
side
parked in the
lot
same.
now.
Well, I will say this, which I thought was kind of funny. So I don't know because you were there early. There was 2 entrances to go into the gate, right? One had a sign that said cash only, and the other one said credit card, right? But even though you go into each side, they merged into one lane, and there was one person taking the money. So why have the 2 lanes? Yeah, I thought that was
Maybe
funny.
someone was taking a break at that time.
Yeah,
I
who knows?
don't know.
Who
but
knows?
Anyway, so.
But the important thing to remember is parking has not gone up.
And Ray, the photographer, didn't have to pay because he had, guess what? A media pass. Where's our media pass? Where's my media pass?
You're on the list.
Well, I had to pay $20.
Oh,
I didn't.
I have a media pass.
I don't have one. Anyway, that was my rant for the day.
There you go. But the important thing to remember is the parking did not go up. Like, that was the first thing people said to me is parking's more expensive. And so I actually reached out to the team
Owners,
and I was
yeah.
like, hey, what's up with parking? Why is parking more expensive? And they're like, well, we have tiered parking now. And so there's preferred parking, which is $20.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still park for $10. Like, parking is not more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there is a different tier of parking now.
And what about for handicap? Is it $10 no matter where you park?
So part of the decision for tiered parking is, my understanding, part of that decision was folks were not respectful in the first game of the handicap parking spaces, which are in the preferred parking area. And they had some trouble with some vehicles that parked there that shouldn't have, which factored into the decision to do some tiered parking.
Okay.
So my understanding is if you're a handicap parking, I imagine they will charge you a general parking rate, the $10,
But just
but that
park
you
in
will
the
be able to
$20.
park in
I hope so.
a handicap space.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they would not do that way. But that factored into the decision because there were some folks, and there's always some folks
Always.
that want to take supreme advantage of a situation, and they don't see anybody parked in the handicap space, so they're going to park
But
there.
the parking lot is so large. I mean, come on, people. I mean,
You can and walk a few steps.
come on, people. You can do it.
Like, if I can walk a few steps,
This
you
is
can
San
walk a few
Antonio,
steps,
man. We're fat.
We're the 3rd fattest city in the nation, which is just ridiculous. We can be number 1. Let's get to number 1.
I'm doing my part to get us to number
Hey,
1. That's for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the important thing to remember. Parking did not go up. Parking is still $10.
Okay.
You can just park in a closer spot for $20. If you have a desire to do that, that's you. But they're not forcing you to do that. You can park for $10 just like you could in the first game. Right?
Yes.
But now, do they have tailgating in the other parking lot?
Currently, I have not seen any of that, but that doesn't mean you can't. I
Okay.
wouldn't imagine. Like, you want to set up your grill and tailgate over there, go for it. I can't imagine that would be a problem.
Whiskey River's not over there, though.
Nope. Devil's River Whiskey
Devil's
is,
River, yeah.
is in the preferred area.
That's right. Okay. And so was Teardrop.
Yes, they were.
Yes. Teardrop
Speaking of our
made
buddy
the-
Chris, Chris showed up out there. Kind of a perfect setup for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you're a member of Coach's Corner, if you're not, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
but if
you
you're a
had that
member of
cool
Coach's
pass.
Corner, they had nachos that they were giving out to
And
folks that
sausage
were
wraps.
part of their group, and sausage wraps. And so I got a sausage wrap,
And
and then I
beer.
walk right over, and beer. And I walk right over to Chris, and I put some golden habanero on it.
Oh, delicious.
Yes.
And had my sausage wrap with golden habanero. Very, very
It
good.
was good.
Very good.
I did the same.
Just, you can't beat this stuff. And having it there, I know.
Quite a few people bought some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know people were buying. Well, and you bought some
Yes.
and handed it out.
I know.
right?
So I thought of an idea. So I was like, let me buy some of the hot sauce, and then I'll go up and down the line because there was already a line for me to get in.
Right.
And I was like, I'll say whoever knows the sponsor on our podcast that sells the hot sauce, if you can name it, I'll give you a free bottle. Boom, boom, boom. Within seconds, we had 4 people answer, and I gave away the bottles. So it's good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really good stuff. You've heard us talk about it already because right there in that first break, we gave you the information, but I'll give it again because we love Chris.
Yes, we
and
do.
We love his product. In fact, he's been with us since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Very
yeah.
beginning.
And he's the first one. Like when I send out invoices, he's the first one that gets it to me.
Oh, so
In fact,
sweet.
I invoiced today. And before I left work, after I'd sent out invoices this morning,
Yeah.
he had already gotten that turned around.
That's awesome.
So
So
we
he should
love
be coming
Chris.
again. He really enjoyed it. He came and he sat with us. He watched the game. He was pumped. He loved it.
So go to teardroppepepperco.com, use the offer code ARENA, save 10%, and buy plenty of it because you're going to need plenty of it.
For the
It's
next
great
game.
on everything.
So, to the wild. We got a Gunslingers fan in Austin.
Yeah, we do.
Woo!
Yep, that's true. Because Chris is coming out of Austin.
That's right.
So we've got our event on the 5th. We've got another game coming up on the 12th. We have fans all over the place, Gunslingers fans all over the place. My buddy Jeremy brought his son out.
So cute.
That was awesome. His Facebook
7?
post.
I think he's 7 years old. Levi.
Adorable.
They were wearing their Dak Prescott jerseys, matching dad and son
Aw.
Dak Prescott jerseys, and then they got Gunslingers hats that they were wearing right there on the dasher board. So they were able to have a conversation with James Stolt and some of the players. I'm trying to think. Caleb Roller, I think, spent some time talking to him.
Yeah.
And Levi got knocked off the dasher boards by a player at one point.
That came right into it, right in front of them. And he took it like a champ.
He did.
He kind of like
you
a
said,
frisbee going, shoo.
You said he got knocked down, and he immediately gave a thumbs up. He's
Yeah.
going back and
Thumbs up.
watched
I'm
it.
good.
right?
What
Yeah.
a trooper. What a trooper.
And Jeremy even said that Levi now wants to play that kind of football. Like
That's
not just football,
awesome.
wants to play that kind of
And
football.
that's really what it's all about. I even saw from where I was standing or sitting or yelling, there was
All of the above.
all the above. There was like 4 or 5 kids just passing the ball back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's really cool. Here's a game, and they're aspiring to be one of those players one day. And that's what I love about having having football in San Antonio
Right.
with football players from San Antonio.
So the level of fan engagement with the team, the players, I mean, is unparalleled. It's a great time to go out there and just watch the game and enjoy the experience. But then you also get to like engage the players that you're watching. Like I love
Yes.
your RB story. For example, RB, a friend of mine who was out in
He was
the,
also
in the
cheering
stands.
with us.
Yeah, and he happened to call the play
Yes, he
at
did
the
the
end.
last play. I can't believe that.
I heard it from multiple people, so I know it's true. But he said, and he didn't know Jaleel Ali's number.
He did not.
Name. He knew
Uh-huh.
the number. We didn't know Jaleel Ali's number at the
Right.
time during the
Because
broadcast.
his name's not on the back of his shirt.
No.
Yeah, and on the roster he's had because he's worn a couple different numbers so
Right.
far. But anyways, RB said that number 19 is going to pick off
Yes.
the pass to
Yes.
put this
He
game
called
away,
it.
and that's exactly what happened. And the thing that's so cool about that is because of that, RB's like, I'm going to go and get a picture
Yes.
with number 19. So he walked right up to Jaleel Ali after the game, and Jaleel took a picture with him, and he's got a picture with a fan now that he was like, that's so cool. I called it, and he made it come true.
That's right. It was great. The whole evening was a blast. It really was. Like I said, we were surrounded by Manny's family. We were surrounded by Cheeto's family. All around us, we had David Oliveira's family. We had the Roller family. So it was just a blast. I mean, it really was.
We haven't gotten numbers yet. I would guess
Oh,
there were
yeah.
about 1,800 to 2,000 there at the Rose Palace.
Very good
how
turnout
many
for a
was at
Monday
the first
night.
game?
For Monday night, 2,200 in first
22.
game. So
yeah, I don't think it was 22.
I think this was down a little bit, but again, difference between a Saturday night and a Monday night.
Yeah, big difference.
Still no excuses. We want to make that aim for 3,000.
Yeah, we got to get 3,000 in the Palace.
Pack the Palace.
And I've seen some comments, I've seen some questions today specifically about specific merchandise.
Yes.
So lots of people are asking, where can I get a jersey?
Yes, looking for jerseys. I know specifically Bonnie Coca was asking about jerseys, and her son's Sean Mueller.
Yeah.
And so she was asking about jerseys.
So I know the team is hearing that and is working on that. Now, remember, they've got to be able to print a certain amount of them. You can't just print one at a time. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to print. They're going to have to come up with either a fan jersey, which, is not a bad idea for them to start printing up some fan jerseys. Not number 12 fan jerseys, because that's my number.
Yeah, we got that.
Some fan jerseys in another number. And the best way, like, request it. Mm-hmm. Go to the team and request it. The other thing that I've seen some people asking about,
noisemakers.
Well, there was that.
Okay.
Flags.
Michael Wayne Davis.
This is something we've actually had talked about with them previously.
Love flags, especially for tailgating.
Get some Gunslingers flags. And Alba Nava, who is one of our patrons and is part of the ownership group, reached out to Michael Wayne Davis. I think it was Michael Wayne Davis.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That was asking about it and said, we're already working on that.
I will drape myself in a flag.
Will you?
Yes, I will.
For sure. Gunslingers flags, like, I can see it in my mind. And just the blue background with the red triple stripe running lengthways down it, and then the big gunslinger symbol right in the center of it, like almost like the blue T-shirt, very close to the blue Gunslingers T-shirt that's out there. I think it'd look good. I think they need to get on that. But the best way to get merchandise, the best way to is exactly what I believe it was Michael Wayne Davis that said. I've got money in hand.
Yeah.
Like, you print them, I'll buy one. I'll buy one before you print them if it'll help them get printed. If you'll reach out to them in that kind of manner and say, this is what I want, and I'm willing to pay up front before I get it.
Yeah, I will do that too. I want a jersey.
They'll do it. They'll find a way to make it happen. When they get enough of those requests, they'll find a way to make those things happen. Because now, don't come to them and be like, hey, I want a jersey. Go print them and maybe I'll buy one.
No.
They're not in a position to do that kind of stuff right now. They
Put
just
your money where your mouth is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Reach out to them and say, hey, I've got cash in hand. I want to pre-order.
I'm ready to send my money through Venmo right now.
Right.
And the fact that people are already doing that just shows that the people are buying into this,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said it again.
For sure.
For sure.
Definitely reach out and let them know what you're wanting and let them know you're ready to pay for it now, knowing that it's going to be a little while before you can get your hands on it. And I truly believe they'll find a way to make that happen. So you want your sweatshirts?
I do, and my jersey.
So you want your sweatshirts and jersey?
Because I'm always cold.
I've told you how to do that now.
Because I'm going to drape it over me because I'm cold.
So you just want everything.
Pretty much.
I'm writing an email right. Dear Gunslingers, take my money. I like the sound effects, Leo. Give me a helmet.
Take my money.
And I do want to give a shout out to Coach's Corner. They did a great job with the sausage wraps the nachos out there. Continue supporting them. I know the money's going to the scholarships.
Yep.
I know there was some issues about seating with them, but the story was told to me was that they had a banner that sectioned off where they were able to sit, the people with the VIP. Someone stole it.
Nice.
Very nice. Come on, San Antonio. That's really disrespectful. So this time they were one man down because Raj, I have to give a shout out to him. He's out somewhere here in Texas helping with the children who migrated, the immigration.
Yep.
So he's helping out people. And then so they're one man down, and then they go to put the section to kind of guard it off, and the sign is gone.
Wow.
So they had no way to say, okay, you can't sit here, you can't sit here. So whoever took that sign, you better bring it back or you're going to time out.
A timeout.
Yeah, or more.
Or more.
A spanking.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Can I say that? I don't. Well, yeah, I don't want to get
Don't get on RC's
I don't want to get in
bad side.
trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. And I was really mad when they were doing some cheap shots to Roller, and I was yelling, "Don't you mess with my Roller!" So I hope you heard that.
Oh yeah, they pushed him into the dasher boards.
Did not
Yeah.
like that.
A very chippy game.
Very, very,
Very
chippy.
chippy.
Lots going on. From the very beginning, it seemed like both of these teams had history.
We should have bags of chips ready for them when the next time they come in. Here's
Chippy,
your
I
chips.
like it.
Get it out of your system before you take the field.
Yeah.
Take your chips now.
So as we wrap up another show, all that's left to say is that Smoking Guns Podcast is brought to you by
Texas Sports LMT, and that stands for Licensed Massage Therapist. Specializes in sports massage, sports stretch, Swedish, and deep tissue massage. Texas Sports LMT has been in business 8 years and was nominated Best of San Antonio 3 years in a row. She worked alongside the San Antonio Commanders, making sure they were game day ready at all times. And right now, she's working on a lot of the basketball players from the women's NCAA.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
she's working it. She's working it really good. She's also worked and provided sports stretch to numerous players from the NFL and the NFL combined. Sports stretch is structured to be performed on athletes of any size and stature. It is safe for just about anyone who is looking to gain flexibility in order to perform better on the field, in the gym, and in everyday activities. I just had a massage last week.
Did you?
Yes, I did. It was wonderful because I was on this little stoop and I was going to fall. And so I grabbed the walls not to fall.
Yeah.
And I pulled something in my bicep and much better. I really couldn't even lift up my arm I go to waxing. Women will know what I'm talking about. And there's a certain position you have to put your arm in, and I couldn't do it. So I couldn't wax because of that. And she fixed it just like that.
I feel like I'm getting a lot more information than I wanted from this read
Oh,
right now.
oh well. So give Laura the
Waxing
text.
positions.
Maybe that didn't come out the right way. Well, we have it real here on the show.
What's that number?
Okay, so give Laura, the Texas Sports L&T, a call to set up an appointment today at 210-459-0176. It's not how you train, it's how you recover.
Smoking Guns Podcast also wants to extend just the most grateful thanks that we can to our Patreons.
Yes.
That list is growing.
We love you.
And we're excited. Iris and Mo Ferrante.
Yes.
Herman Robles Jr.
Yes.
Alba Nava. Greg and Kim Nelson. Humphrey Hernandez. Adriana Garcia and Warren Hubert, all part of our team.
Our
We're
posse,
excited.
we love you.
Awesome people.
You can be part of that team. You can help us make the show go. Go to Patreon and sign up. That's going to wrap up the episode. We are going to be live next week.
Woo!
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be a really short episode or a really long episode. It's really
really
dependent on.
Drunk episode.
I'm a really happy episode.
It's going to depend on so many of you coming out and joining us. We hope to have some players out there. We hope to have some of the coaches and the team staff out there as far as the ownership.
Right.
If you've got an idea, just a great idea, you know what we need to do, that might be your opportunity to get the ear of, an owner and say,
Right.
hey, what you really need to do is have a scoreboard at the games because they haven't heard that yet.
I still think I can walk around with the sign that
Hey,
has this,
maybe that'll work.
Maybe I'll have to do that next time. I'm putting it out there.
When it comes to football, in Texas, it's all about San Antonio. Like San Antonio was made for football, and football is
sure.
made for San Antonio. And we have a message for all those teams out there that don't realize that that's true. We got a message for the Raiders out there in Mississippi. Your favorite, the Raiders,
Yeah.
out in Mississippi. We got a message for the North Texas Bulls who think that they have just
enemy.
walked into our place and owned us. They comment on every game. No, it's not going to be enough to beat us.
Oh.
We'll see.
We'll see how
I'm
that goes.
still going with the bull slaughter.
We got a message for the wild folks out there
Just
in
stay
Austin.
in Austin. You don't
who-
even have a home.
Oh,
gosh, ouch.
Jeez.
I was going to say keep your tacos, but that's...
Yeah, keep your breakfast tacos. It's not their fault they don't have a home.
Well,
Poor team. But we got a message for them, too. We got a message for the Buccaneers sailing the oceans of El Paso.
that's right.
that message is quite simply, when it comes to football, the 210 has got something to say.
Bang, bang.
For sure.